Alright, where am... Oh, it would really be a good idea if I also set up the mic.
Thought about that as you were sitting.
Let me get the mic. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Rewatching RWBY. I'm still Jenny. That is still Madison.
We are watching Volume 2 today.
We are, and you know what I forgot about? World of Remnant starts this season.
Oh my gosh.
Are you ready for the homework?
I just love using different media to develop lore. Yeah.
Instead of just actually doing it in the show?
No, I don't see why one would do that.
Yeah.
No, I just don't see the reasoning behind that.
No, I feel like they also need a couple of book tie-ins just to make sure they got us covered on every front.
Yes, for sure. It's crazy that we used to watch this week to week.
Oh.
We used to wait months or however long their hiatus are.
It was a good 8 to 9 months.
And then wait for these 5 minutes every week.
Sometimes 4.
Woo!
And we loved it. We ate up every single crumb of it.
Amazing.
Because it was the best thing 13 and 14-year-old us had seen ever.
Yes.
I think Volume 2 correlates with the first year you and I were in high school.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, 14-year-old us, ready to be broken by the world. But the one thing keeping us through it that kept us going, RWBY. Apparently.
What a painful sentence.
What a very painful sentence. Look, high school was rough.
Yeah.
For everybody, but it was rough. This shirt is 10 years old.
Vintage.
It's holding up great. I'm not, but you know what? This shirt, thriving. She was gonna wear her penny shirt today, but decided to completely outstyle me on every front, which she does on a daily basis.
I couldn't make it line up with my work vibe for today, but I did keep the same color scheme, which is green and tans and ginger pinkness. So close enough.
It looks great.
Shirt holds up. Same as Blake. It looks so cute. I'm gonna try to wear it one day.
It's RT, you don't take good care of employees, but you've made solid product.
Solid.
Volume 2 is actually my favorite of the original 3 volumes. Mm-hmm. Not because it was, the best, but because it was, the closest to what I imagined RWBY actually could be or was supposed to be,
Okay.
You had, if I remember correctly, 3 distinct story arcs where hijinks are ensuing while they're going to school. And, that's kind of
fun.
The pitch of the first 2.5 seasons.
Yeah. Is this when the food fight happens?
Yes.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm excited now.
I'm ready for
this. You said hijinks at school, and I was like, hold up. There's some really good hijinks that go on in the school at one point. I'm used to binging, I will say. So I'm fear I'm going to forget everything. I need to watch it now. It's crazy.
But binging isn't healthy.
Healthiness is not my concern. It's
clearly not. We're watching RWBY.
Mental health is clearly not on the mind.
Let's see this time if the DVD has subtitles.
I'm so excited.
The biggest anticipatory thing of Volume 2.
Subtitles.
Manifesting
now.
Please. All right. Let's get into it. So we just finished the first 4 episodes of Volume 2.
Whoa!
So hype.
It's so cool.
There are just so many things about it that it was my favorite for a reason.
Yeah, I'm feeling 14 again. I'm oh, everything's so amazing. Literally screaming the whole time, hyping it up.
And you'll be happy to know that the Volume 2 DVD does in fact have subtitles.
Whoa!
God bless.
Amazing. It changes the experience. I think this volume so much better because it has subtitles.
Only that. That's the only thing that's improved here.
Not that there's no more shadow people.
R.I.P. the shadow people. I get why they had to go, but they'll always have a place in my heart. I love the Volume 2 opening.
Yes, it is so cute and good. It's all of the openings are very, like, the whole show's anime inspired.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the openings has, like, the classics. The falling from the sky, very classic. But this time, as opposed to Volume 1, it's, like, executed so well.
Yes.
And it's, like, crisp. And it's
snappy,
so good.
it's crisp. The music is hype.
Yes.
And that's, like, a theme for the entire thing, is that even, like, the score is popping off in the background. Like, Jeff Williams and Alex Abraham, they're great. Like, those scores are just, like, in the background, you're like, this is some good shit.
Yes.
R.I.P. the shopkeeper, though, for getting robbed in the very first scene, after getting robbed in the first scene last volume.
Oh, this poor man. I hope he has a really nice insurance or some hefty savings or something, because this business is not doing great.
Grand reopening, immediately gets robbed.
Oh, poor man. This is probably his lunch money for the day.
It probably was. Unfortunate turn of events.
No, he's the owner, the keeper, cashier, and the driver, apparently, as we learn later. Mm-hmm. He does it all.
And he also has a noodle business on the side.
Noodle business.
That's what's paying the bills. That's what pays the bills is no, restaurants barely ever break even.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
And then my girl boss, Emerald, robs him. Love her. She can do no wrong, except that everything she does is wrong.
No, honey, the better way of saying it is we support women's wrongs.
Yes. Yes.
Women's rights, women's wrongs.
They rob him and then immediately go attack.
And murder a man.
I would say in murder. Murder. I don't think I comprehended killing.
No, that was definitely murder.
I love it. How old are they? Are they at the same age?
I think they might be a little bit older than 17. I really wish we had, like, official years and dates and stuff, but, like, we know how that...
They're us. They're our age. If they're, like, a little older, that would be...
Yeah, that does not compute. But that ties into, you were talking a lot about how everybody in this world who has even a remote bit of combat training is basically, like, a child soldier.
They're all child soldiers, and it plays throughout the whole thing. These 4 episodes, right? That's all I can think about this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Well, because, like, I thought... I mean, the scene is really good. Like, the tension, Mercury slamming the books closed in the background, then dimming the lights. It's, like, really well thought out and conceived and executed. My one remark is that I really wish... Like, Blake's whole thing is loving books. So say that she has a favorite local bookstore that is owned and operated by a faunus, and she finds him murdered. I'm not saying that her paranoia is unfounded in episode 2, but I think that would have, like, been a bit more organic of a reason for her to be a little freaked out. They're hunting down old White Fang members.
It would have been very... clean. I don't know. Clean is the way I say it because it ties in. You said how it ties in.
Efficient.
Yeah. Like, it makes sense. That, murder scene, is such a real retail experience. Like, they're like, do you have this? Yeah, we do. Okay. And then, like, that's it. And then they just ask. Heck, even turning off the lights. I know it's done to be creepy, and it's great. We also get to see, like, the weird light switches they have. Anyways, it's great. Really does seem nice. Customers, like, do that. They'll just be like, time to turn light switches off. Anyways, so I really related to Wolverine knockoff a lot.
His name is Tuxin. Put some respect on it.
Sorry, Tuxin. Sorry.
R.I.P. Tuxin.
Yeah. And your nails, they were so great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry. I was reading some of my notes, and this is literally, like, max 10 minutes ago, and I'm like, what kind of mindset was I in where I wrote that?
Who was she?
But yeah, and then we, like, almost immediately go into food fight.
Food fight!
Which is so
the best thing ever!
So good.
Obsessed with all the creative ways that they just recreated their weapon with food. Leeks, watermelon hammer, turkey for fist guns,
yes,
swordfish sword. RWBY doesn't get an equivalent. She just kind of vibes.
Runs.
Leeks! Did I already say
I
leeks?
think you might have said leeks.
Frick. Baguettes! Stale baguettes!
It's all so good.
Iconic.
So good. And it's amazing to watch. It's funny. And then what I think it does a really good job of is telling us that these characters have grown without us watching them.
Yes.
I was like, we've pretty much first volume, it's like they say months passed at some point in the first volume between like an episode or
Between
something.
the Jean arc and the Faunus reveal.
Yeah. But, you know, like there's like months passed since we last saw it. They finished a whole school year.
Apparently.
They are apparently now second years.
Mm-hmm.
And their weird school that's not an equivalent to high school or college. Whatever. That's fine. We don't need to know.
No.
But it does so... I just love it. It does such a great job. And even not showing that they're like OP.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty close. But like they're still having problems, or like they accidentally like hit one another every once in a while, or like fall, or don't know how to, like Jean doesn't know how to block sometimes, but he's so much better.
Jean can he doesn't hold his own, but he doesn't suck completely.
Yeah.
And that is progress.
It's just so good.
You cannot beat the food fight. Like, just...
Yeah, and then
Sun's abs being even more pronounced is so funny to me.
oh, Sun is amazing. One of my
Like,
lines,
he is chiseled like Adonis.
one of my notes, the one that made me laugh, is Sun is so girly pop. He is. He's so amazing. He's like the purest character.
Mm-hmm.
And like, not saying they aren't. Like, almost all the characters are like sweet and innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But Sun, like, I've never had an ill thought about that man. And that's a man character. Rare. But he's so cute. He's like, these people are so cool. I barely know them. Like, oh, they're so interesting. Like that whole speech with Neptune. Talking. When they're like fighting in the background.
Yes.
Amazing. Comedy. Genius.
Mm-hmm.
I will always love when something's going on behind another character and they just don't notice.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Never been done before. Should be done all the time. Even more. Need it.
Well, like, a little later on, he has one of my favorite lines where he's just like... Or Ruby's like, we didn't want to get, like, friends involved if we didn't have to. And he's like, that's dumb. You should always get friends involved. And, like, such a good characteristic. And I'm like, he is just himbo personified.
Yes.
Hot, dumb hunk.
Yes. I love it.
But I don't want to, like, get too far ahead.
Yeah, we're definitely accidentally going around. It's just so exciting.
It is. Like, there's a reason that, like, this got us through high school.
Yeah.
Is, you know, every week sucked, but getting to Saturday mornings and just watching these episodes.
Yes.
And then, like, the excitement would carry us over into the next week. And, like, I get the appeal of binge watching and shows, but there is something really special about being able to, like, did you see the new episode?
Yeah.
And I think that's why people latched on to WandaVision when it was coming out, because it was the first thing in a long time that had that similar release schedule. And it's like, we could theorize and we could talk about stuff. And, you know, there's something to be said about being able to just critique and understand a work as it's completed and as it's whole. But, like, it's so fun to just be like, oh.
Yeah.
You can really tell that they actually bothered to make these episodes this time around.
Yes.
Like, instead of just, like, chapters in a volume. Like, there's more of a definitive mark between each installment.
Kind of going back to my child soldier rant. It corresponds with the food fight. The first thing that, like, got me, like, lasered in is that the whole gist of this section is Ruby being like, we need to have fun before school starts back up.
Mm-hmm.
Teenagers aren't supposed to think fighting with your friends in a way that destroys your school is fun. And, like, it's not normal. Like, I'm sure that the writers were not thinking about this in a sociological or psychological sense. But that's the only way I've been, like, analyzing it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I wish I could, like, detach a little bit and enjoy it just as, like, Ruby. But, you know, sociology minor really, really in there.
Well, it's hard not to. Like, I keep saying the words, like, efficient storytelling, and I did that a lot last time, and that's because when I was in college, they primarily taught us short story writing, which is, like, you have to make every single word count.
Yeah.
So, like, if I talk a lot about story efficiency, that's because I was, like, that's my training. That's how I was trained in it. So, like, the fact that you bring in no, I love the fact that you bring in the fact, like, your sociology and your fashion merchandising minors, because, like, that's a world that I completely have no grasp on whatsoever. And I think that the best stories are always conscious of not just the English or whatever language that the story is delivered in, but it's also conscious of political science, of sociology, of history, and the ways in which those affect people. And I think Montaigne once said something like, culture comes from people, people live in places, places dictate how you can live somewhere, and it's stuff like that. And it's like, I wish we kind of see a little bit of that when they're playing the board game. That's a good way to do world building, is to play a board game with the different quirks of each kingdom.
Yes.
If we'd gotten that a little sooner, that'd have been a really good way to understand each place. Like, Vacuo is a desert. Atlas has a huge military. We don't really get much on Vale because Blake's not interested in playing, but, like, little ways like that they almost scratch the surface of really clever and creative ways to tell their story.
Yeah, and it's even the fact that this is, going back to Child Soldiers, this is, like, that's their game, and you can easily draw, like, similarities with games like Risk and stuff for us.
Yeah, I love Risk.
But unlike that, like, that is not something we are actively experiencing on the day-to-day.
Right.
Because they have, like, the Grimm as part of it. That literally...
Nonstop existential
I watched
threat.
them fight the Grimm a week ago. Like, that's something they're constantly facing. And the fact that it's a child game for them, even, like, a nerdy one, as implied, it's interesting. And it really speaks to the doom and, like, gloom that this world society actually is, even though Ozpin keeps on telling us that we are in a time of peace.
Ozpin is a liar.
Yes.
I don't remember disliking him this much my first time through.
I remember thinking his character design's really cool.
Everyone's character design is, like, on point. Like,
cool.
Neptune, on point. Sun, on point. Ozpin, on point. Ironwood, on point. My problem is that... So, I rewatched Harry Potter recently. And, like, you rewatch that as, like, a 22-year-old who's come out of a lot of bad mentor relationships. And these men are so bad at being teachers and being leaders and being mentors. Like, they're training children to die. And to die for a cause that has no end. And that's what, like, maybe that's why it's hard to like him. And maybe I also don't like him because he, like, asks Blake, hey, why are you using the bow? And he's like, we're making strides. And it's like, read Passing by Nella Larson. Like, this is a mini rant from me. This is just from me. I know that, like, American schools insist that we have to read The Great Gatsby. Fine, whatever, green light. We should also be reading Passing by Nella Larson because it also is, it takes place in the exact same city in a very similar time period and shows you the exact opposite version of America experienced by minorities and how they experienced the Roaring 20s, where Gatsby is all about, oh, generational wealth and the American dream isn't real. Passing is like, no shit, it's not real. You still try and cling on to it because that's the existing parameters that were given to fit in within a society. And it's like, I'm on a bit of a tangent here. Anyway, him telling her that she shouldn't have to use the bow, he is overstepping his boundaries. And that kind of put me off a little bit.
Yeah. It's like, okay, white man in the highest position of power.
Literally!
Like, we talked about this when we were watching. As far as I know, this man's the president.
He basically acts like the president.
Like,
how does the power structure work?
Yeah.
Who's in charge? Or, like, Roman Torchwick goes on his spiel about, like, government, school, they're all to blame for your lot in life. And I'm like, yes, but there's no separation between government, school, and military.
I thought I heard a bark. They're all one and the same.
You
I
did
hear a bark.
I love you. I'm trying to film right now, though.
I feel like if I try to pet you, you won't like it. No.
Okay. Roman Torchwick is the reason for the egg shortage.
Egg?
The American egg shortage right now?
Oh.
Do you not get my joke? Was that not a good joke?
I agree.
Yes. Like, I feel like Roman Torchwick would be single-handedly responsible for today's current egg shortage.
I
Driving up the prices of dust. Crazy for that.
For what? I mean,
I don't really think we find out.
Oh, okay, word.
I also just wanted to point out the X-Ray and Vav comic, because X-Ray and Vav is criminally underrated.
So cute.
Like, I remember, like, it only got 2 seasons, but both seasons, both very good. I think Lindsay Jones got to direct several episodes of it, and it's like, let them direct more.
Yes.
Why do we introduce such amazing alternate outfits, and they are only used for 2 episodes? Why do they do that to us?
Yeah. I don't know. They're very cute. I love seeing, I don't know, for me, different outfits makes a character seem more real.
Yeah.
Like, more, like, developed. And, like, me...
They have a wardrobe?
Yeah, they have a wardrobe. They, like, choose what they're wearing all the time. Sorry. Of course they choose what they're wearing all the time. But I was distracted. Anyways. Like, I really like seeing, like, Yang's, like, combat boots.
Mm-hmm.
They're, like, different, and I don't know, I'm like, yes, she has the docks on. Like, I know little more about her now.
I love how simple, but, like, unique Blake's is. Like, the white top with the black pants. Like, if I was to ever cosplay the series, I would have cosplayed that outfit instead of her OG outfit. Because it tickles the brain in a good way. I think the only one that I don't love as much is that Weiss's is only black and white. And that really makes you appreciate the pop of red on her collar.
Yeah.
As, like, you know, that second layer of... Later on, the designs get way too busy. But, like, just a single pop of color here and there. Like, Blake's boots, the bottom of them are purple. That gives them definition. It's just little pops right where you need the color. Instead of just saying... belts.
I didn't notice the purple. But it was a bit jarring at one point during their really fucking cool. I don't know if I'm allowed to fuck. I'm allowed to say fuck, not fuck. Anyways, during the really cool fight scene, there's a section where they stand next to each other in a line, and it did throw me off. Seeing Ruby and Yang's color, and then Blake and Weiss were just black and white, which fits, like, many ways. Like, lines up with their color schemes, and also, like, Yang and Ruby are sisters, so of course they're the only ones pop color, whatever. Anyways, it was a bit jarring. Still love all the designs. Like, I really even like Ruby's.
Oh, yeah. Don't sniff the mic. That's gonna come up very loud.
It turns into an ASMR channel. Ruby's is really cute. Both of her outfits really do well with a bit of steampunk influence. And they, like, all have that, but, like, Ruby's, like,
I don't know if it's the right or the left shoulder that has that little bit of metal. It's just little stuff like that. I don't love the fact that it's all gray at points. Okay, you do. Agree to disagree. I mean, it looks good.
I think it's very grungy.
Okay.
And I think that's why I like it.
Yeah.
Rascal, you're so distracting.
Isn't he?
And you're just sitting there.
He's being a good boy. He knows that Zwei is going to show up later in the volume to grace us all.
This volume?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No wonder this is your favorite.
He sent a dog? In the mail?
Oh my god, I forgot that's how it works. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
So he's just preparing the audience to talk about Zwei. Oh, he's so precious. Penny hiccuping when she lies is such a great allusion to Pinocchio instead of her nose growing, because none of these characters have noses, just about.
It's just like barely a dot, if they're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. They do well with the fairy tale influences throughout, but every once in a while there's something that really hits it for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's with these secondary characters from, I mean, technically Penny and Son were introduced in the first volume.
Yeah.
But even Neptune, I like a lot of the different thoughts behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just finish my one thought and then say that next thought. Penny's freaking adorable. The Hiccup, so freaking well. I love it. Everything she does is great. Neptune, it's the same thing with Sun, where it just like hit me that this is like such great takes on the like fictional mythological character they're based on.
Mm-hmm.
Which, going back to the fashion, oh my goodness, Neptune's iconic 2012 jacket, amazing. Like I it's like cringy, but also so iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so there.
Yeah.
And I think they were able to weave something that was such a fad very well into the character design.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the take of the trident.
Yes.
Filled with the electricity and everything. I love that weapon. Same reason I love the bow for Sun and his character design.
Mm-hmm.
So those three have just like really scratched something when it comes to character designs for me.
Now, as for the actual characters, I'm not a Neptune girl.
I hate him without actually hating him.
I don't want him here.
I don't want him there. I hate his flirting. Why does Weiss do that? Why? I mean, I have some theories on why Weiss does that.
Care to share?
You know, what assuming 35-year-old man doesn't want their 17-year-old female design being in love with them?
I'm tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really tired of is just Neptune. I mean, he's not... Like, I feel like if we knew a Neptune in real life...
I would love that person. Not in, like, a, like, love that person way, but in a, like, oh my goodness, this guy's, like, such a character.
Oh, yeah.
I feel bad, but I don't know why he's there.
Well, like, you introduce Sun, who apparently goes to the Vacuo school. Shade. Where's his team, is the question. Mm-hmm. And you're like, they don't even introduce him as my teammate Neptune. He introduces him as my old friend Neptune. Mm-hmm. Which is an interesting thing to do. Yeah.
But then they do mention, what's his name, Scarlet? They, like, mention him.
They mention him.
Like, just like, oh.
Doesn't Gavin voice Scarlet?
I don't remember. Anyways.
He's not on screen very long.
It does kind of hint at, like, maybe they're a team.
Maybe.
I guess it's supposed to be implied that, like, yeah, Sun's there for the festival, but he was like, what if I just went early and stowed away on the ship?
Good for him.
Which, I mean, you do you, King, Monkey King. Love everything you do. We really like when he sneaks up to the girls' room scene.
I do it all the time.
You do what?
I climb trees all the time.
Amazing delivery by both.
The voice acting has gotten so much better this time around. Everyone is settling in to their roles. Neptune's line when Yang drags Junior back to the bar, going, "Oh, what a woman," is somehow more ick than some of the other things that we've complained about. And I don't know why. It just... All the red flags are waving back and forth and screaming semaphore right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's because, like, that's it. That's all we're given for Neptune, is these, like, flirtings.
Mm-hmm. He gets such development in the dance arc.
Oh my god.
I'm being sarcastic.
I'm so scared. Because even with, Junior's creepiness, being an older man hitting on this, like, younger woman. He's not he's not a main secondary character.
Right.
Like, it's okay that all we know about him is, like, club owner, you know, like, gang boss, question mark, whatever. And then, like, he, like, does the weird flirting thing with Yang. That's okay, because that's all we need. Neptune is introduced to us. Like, he's literally introduced to the main characters. Like, here he is!
He's here now!
Which implies to us that he's important. And then all he does is give us what a woman.
Can Junior's, like, gang be called the Red Machetes?
I love that, yeah.
This is what stood out to me with Penny's robot reveal this time. Why is her stopping the truck with her bare hands that shocking to a public that understands what semblances are?
Imagine living in a world of magic.
And that's what surprises you. Like, then Sun, not 20 minutes later, creates Sun duplicate clones of himself to fight a giant mech, destroying the highway and killing dozens of people who are just trying to drive home from work.
In that same scene, we see RWBY running on walls really fast.
Parkour!
People don't do that. Not like she does. But
and it's like, why does that stand out?
No.
Did she stop that with her bare hands? Yes!
Yes.
Get on board, Karen! Some people can do that!
Pyrrha could do that.
Pyrrha can do that!
Legit could do it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even have to touch it to do it.
No.
That's okay. That's fine.
Anyway, that's just a minor... It's just little connective tissue.
Yeah.
That's just not there. The skeleton is there. There's no muscle, there's no ligaments, and if they are, they're torn and or detached from themselves. I sound very mean.
Not meaning to. This is really great.
Yeah, I love Volume 2! This is why it was my favorite. I was obsessed with it. If in no small part thanks to the freaking mech fight. So good!
So good. Amazing. Loved the ship names as battle tactics.
The ship names. Okay, my one critique on the ship names is that the ship name more commonly used for Weiss and RWBY isn't Ice Flower, it's White Rose. But I guess Ice Flower works more with the actual attack they were doing. But, like, they use Bumblebee for Blake and Yang. And that doesn't have anything to do with spin around in a circle and hit an immobilized target.
Yeah.
But Freezer Burn and Ladybug are correct.
Yeah.
Also, I'm glad that they were smart enough to not do a team attack for Yang and RWBY, the half-sisters.
I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed. I love using the ship names. I think that's really cute.
But you did also rob us of a team attack from the two sisters who grew up with each other.
Yes, I would really like to see that.
Yeah.
But it's okay. The fight scene's perfect. Loved it.
Immaculate.
Yes. The tactics used is really interesting. We're like, oh wow, they are getting real lessons that we're not seeing.
Yeah, we've seen them develop as a team off screen.
Yes.
Which is a good way to show the passage of time rather than saying the passage of time.
Yes. And then I really liked the scene with all the fog in the air and Roman's in the robot and like
using
Blake's
the lasers.
And Blake's like running around. I loved. It's almost kind of like Roman's the one that should be creeped out in that situation.
Like they're the predators and he's the prey.
And I love, and it's true.
Yes.
Yang beat him up.
And then gets like shoved through 3 different walls. Now, to retroactively pull back on that, look, they've grown as a team. Why doesn't Blake already know what Yang's semblance is?
I think they should have kept Sun and Neptune in the fight. And then that would have... RWBY could have been, like, explaining that to them.
Yeah. I mean, the trade-off there is that I don't want them there.
I don't need them. Like, the fight seems
perfect. For an
perfect.
exposition perspective, they could be there for Yang to be like, that's how her thing works.
Yeah.
From I get to see Team RWBY kick absolute butt.
Yeah.
Do not let them anywhere near it. Leave them at the noodle house. Just leave them there.
A simple walk.
A simple walk into Mordor.
Yes. I was saying, don't want them there. thing would have made more sense. But we know.
Yes. That Monty was smart enough to know, okay, character is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he always knew how to put the focus back on Team RWBY in the fight. Adam being the fashion trendsetter that we all knew he could be by starting the mask trend with the White Fang. I mean, it's just hard to talk about the White Fang with anything other than exasperation of why is this a thing?
Yeah.
Because, like, the concept in a vacuum of Adam being like, well, the world wanted to treat us like monsters, so let's don the faces of monsters. Interesting. Cool.
I think that's baller.
Like, hardcore.
Yes.
But the whole subplot in general is just tedious. The worst thing about RWBY is this subplot so far.
Yeah. And then...
I can forgive everything else. It's just... and it's the main conflict. So there's no compartmentalization here. It is just... Don't forget the White Fang is there!
Yeah.
And they're considered more threatening and concerning than General Ironwood pulling up with thousands upon thousands of military airships and soldiers. Like, that is actually just military propaganda.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're more concerned about the civil rights activist group.
It's interesting because, like, Blake's a part of that freak out, too. Which, I mean, girl... definitely needs all her concerns.
Yes.
All warranted. But, like, her big freak out about all their enemies. Those are... that was her. Like, her enemy was herself, which is interesting. Very interesting concept. But I don't love the idea of her feeling like the White Fang is her enemy.
Well, they don't act like the whole reason that they exist is to fight the existential threat of the Grimm.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like they're training to fight something that isn't the grand threat to humanity's existence.
Yeah.
Like, these monsters feed on negative emotions. So, like, the idea of being, like, the slightest bad day could cause mass panic and casualties really messed up. And, like, the whole reason I wanted to start this video series is because the essay I wanted to sit down and write would have been called, and if I still write it, it'll be called RWBY is Meaningless. And I'm not saying that in a mean way. I mean that as in, it desperately wants to be an existentialist narrative. You know, the idea that, like, why keep fighting if you can never truly win? That's a good question to ask. Like, I don't love Angel the series as much as a spinoff to Buffy, but it posits the question of, like, why fight if you have no intention of winning? Like, if there's no end in sight. That's the question. There's no real answer. There's just things worth fighting for. I'm going to keep coming back to this as we go on to the series, because it's going to be like, you know, Pyrrha's arc in Volume 3 is going to kind of touch on her view on the world, and like, it's there. It weaves in and out. It's just not in the forefront, and it should be. That should be the forefront of the thematic discussion instead of gotta stop the bad guys.
Yeah.
Switching tracks. The fact that Sun buttons his shirt for the White Fang rally. Like, why are you hiding the abs?
It's a special occasion.
Oh, I gotta be recruited. Oh, this is a sweet boy. Is Deary a slur?
God.
Like, Roman just looking at a girl with antlers and saying, I'm glad you asked, dearie. Like, does that count as a slur?
According to the subtitles, it is DEER-Y.
I'm a vote yes.
I think it is. So I guess we can't say it anymore.
Cancelled. Neo!
Yes! Neo's here.
Oh.
Amazing. The bow.
I love her.
Amazing.
Just, I love her. Her introduction is just so perfect. Like, yeah, she walks out while Roman's doing the mech, but her just, like, Neo, if you would.
Yeah. The perfect ending for that fight.
Yes.
Amazing. And like I said, I just love that curtsy. I just love it. It's so cute.
It's prim, it's proper, it's smug, it's condescending. She is the moment.
Her pink... I mean, everything. Your pink
it's
umbrella.
So great. It's a parasol.
My bad.
And again, it's another one of those instances of Monty coming back and saying, what if I made a character based on Neapolitan ice cream and I shove her into an episode that's like not about to release.
Is she based on any fictional character or anything? Like Mary Poppins, Parasol?
I know she gets Mary Poppins. Oh, you don't remember that? Oh, this is exciting.
Like dead?
No.
Okay. Like...
In what universe
I don't know.
Mary Poppins dead? She literally just had a movie about returning. Also, why are we talking about Mary Poppins? I do not want to talk about Mary Poppins.
Sorry, you're right.
The one off-limits topic, do not ever ask me to do anything video related to Mary Poppins. We good? We're good. I don't know if Neo is based on a character. I really do think Monty was just like ice cream. Now, that being said, apparently she has like a book tie-in. Like, she has a book. I think Team Coffee gets a book. I think Sun was supposed to get a book.
There's books.
I refuse to read.
I thought you were joking.
I'm not joking. There are books. There's like a book of in-universe fairy tales.
They're based on fairy tales. We don't need more.
So on top of the world of Remnant, now they're like, here's a reading assignment. I get so mad that they refuse to, in canon, confirm what Neo's relationship with Roman was, and that I have to read a book to figure it out. Because, like, were they father-daughter? Are they, like, mentor-mentee? Are they in a romance? No idea. They don't tell us. And I don't want to... I should not have to read a book to understand what your animated web series is telling.
Now I want to read the book. I need to know now, Jenny. I wasn't thinking about these questions on what the relationship was. I just had my assumptions, and now I need to know the truth.
Well, you can seek your truth on your own time. Is there anything else you would like to discuss that happens on the screen and not on a page in a novel tie-in that you have to pay for with money?
Mm-hmm. Let me just go real quickly through some notes. Mm-hmm. What the heck? Isn't Cinder like 30? Why is she a student? Weiss, please give John a chance.
No. No. I strongly disagree. She, under no circumstances, has to give John the time of day other than not be mean to him.
No. I mean, I'm not saying he's earned it.
No.
I would never say something like that. I just love the nerd and rich girl duo. I can't remember if I talked about how much I loved Penny's robot confession scene.
You didn't talk about it. Talk about it.
Okay. It was beautiful. I compared it to a coming out scene. Because very... Sorry, this dog stinks.
He smelled much worse last time, though.
Not personality. He's great. He just smells. Anyways, it's so sweet. Mm-hmm. Like, you see her, like, hold her hands up, the whole time before she finally, like, reveals it. Mm-hmm. And you see Ruby, like, hold them.
Like, she kind of cradles them.
Yeah, she cradles them. Y'all can see why I ship them a little bit. It's perfect.
Ruby's too ace for that.
She's a robot. It works out. I mean, she's a real girl.
She is. But no, like, that she's just immediately, like, Ruby comes in and says, no, you are real. Mm-hmm. You don't have to... You have a heart and you have a soul.
Yeah. It's so cute. And then I love... which, like, Penny's never really been good at hiding this at all. Not a shock that she was a robot. But I love how, like... I feel like they use every chance they get as soon as she comes out as a robot. Like, her picking up Ruby and throwing her into the garbage can. Like, I'm like... Penny's like, all right, now that you know, I'm about to show you. It's great. And I also really like how it kind of almost frames, like, the soldiers and Penny's father and Ironwood as, like, I feel like I'm supposed to see them as, like, her captors, almost. But Penny doesn't see them as that. And then also... Like, we get the soldiers talking to her after they're chasing her, and they're like, Penny, where the heck have you been? We're concerned about you. Like, very, like, lecturing, like a parent. And it's...
Like uncles.
Yes, like uncles. It's sweet, I almost want to say. Which is, I think, a bit of a little twist on that classic concept of creation being held captive, but not really.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, she is going around the town.
Yeah.
So she's not really held captive, but she's also not supposed to talk to anyone. So it's an interesting balance. Would be interesting to expand on that father-daughter relationship, if that is...
He shows up in 7...
We're on volume 2.
Well, she, like, dies in volume 3.
No.
I think his name is Pietro. I haven't seen volumes 7, 8, or 9. I have seen other people's reactions to 7, 8, and 9, and I have seen it every time it trends on Tumblr. I don't even post on there. I just, like, scroll there, like, stalking the internet.
Once again, shout out to the kids, Emerald and Mercury. I love that that's what Roman refers to them as.
This is turning out just like the divorce.
It's great. It's great. I'm very thankful we divided this by arcs, because we just spent like an hour talking about 4 episodes.
We really did. We could talk forever about any number of topics. But yeah, we're gonna go watch episodes 5, 6, and 7. Woo!
Volume 2, Arc 2.
Dance! Dance.
Yes. The dance.
I feel like I have nothing to say about it and everything to say about it.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Pyrrha 4v1ing entire Team Cardinal. Captain America wishes he was that cool with his shield.
She's so good.
Yes.
Amazing. Like, and so beautifully shot. Or edited. The, like, you know, her getting ready, putting on her game face.
Her crown.
Yes. And then...
Which
like,
should stay on there, because she is queen.
And, like, her fighting. So good.
So good. And we barely talked about Pyrrha in Volume 1, and that's not for lack of loving her. We love Pyrrha.
Love her.
She is such a great character.
Yes. Love her now. Always loved her. Love her more as, like, not a teenager.
Right. Well, it's, like, something about... And again, I don't want to, like, get to the very end of the dance arc, but her speech to Jean is so good. It's so good. And that's been the real pleasant surprise here of, like, sure, the show is a little cringe, and the plot is, like, a thing that not really a thing. I'm having such a good time with this.
It's good. And I'm even liking these parts that I didn't think I would like. Because I've been loving the comedy. I'm loving these confrontations. This whole arc was full of them.
Yeah.
And...
like, sitting down, talking.
Yes.
Characters talking to each other is the best thing ever!
It's good. And it's a lot of lessons. This arc is so high school vibes to it in the best way possible. Like, I think you mentioned it with why you love it, this volume. That it's so, like...
It's the closest to being, like, kind of a not high school, wacky shenanigans ensue while they fight monsters of evil. It's really good stuff, you know? On that note, Blake reading and walking at the same time is so very Belle of her.
Yeah.
Distancing herself from everyone that she loves, zeroing in on something to the detriment of her own physical and mental health, and generally being surly and depressed. I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
You were the Blake of the group.
I've grown significantly since then. Yeah. Thankfully.
And yet, here we are.
Time is a flat circle. We all come back. I mean, it was inevitable to revisit it, but it's such a good time to revisit it. And it's like stuff like that where it's like, yeah, you see stuff like that when you loved when you were 13. And I'm like, God, 13-year-old me, I want to go back and hug her. She was kind of a little shit, but also... Yeah. Like, I get it. Like, you're going to grow into someone that you're really going to like her. I promise you that. So, I'm getting a little sentimental here.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about how in love with myself I would be at 13.
Yeah.
Like, if I met me now, if 13-year-old met the me now, she'd be like, whoa, I want to be her. And, you know, that's always nice. Yeah. I like to have that feeling.
Yeah.
You're always cooler than you were in your past. So it's
Yes.
a little less happy way to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives you something to look forward all the time.
Yeah. Well, you're always growing. And, like, you're always learning, you're always growing. And it's so beautiful to just look back. Even 6 months ago, I'm a totally different person than I was. And it's just so cool. And it's like, yeah, those 6 months had a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And I'm still here and I'm trying my best every day. And that's powerful stuff. And the way that Yang stages an intervention is so lovingly crafted.
Yes.
Where it's like, she tells Blake the backstory of her mother and losing the woman who actually raised her in summer, in the way that she, like, completely hyperfixated on finding her birth mother and finding answers and the question of why, tearing her apart and obsessing over it and hyperfixating on it to the detriment of others. And being like, I'm not asking you to stop, but you need to slow down. It's not worth destroying yourself over. And it's like, Blake has no concept of when to stop, because I feel like she feels like she needs to punish herself all the time for her own past actions, or just punish her for being herself.
Yeah.
And it's like in a tailspin, Yang catches her and says, it's okay. And I've said this a little bit in some of the other videos that I've made, but it's like, we're reflected in the people around us. And when you're spiraling, you tend to break the mirror. But, like, finding a way to get through to someone while they're spiraling without collateral damage happening in the process. It's a good scene. And then Yang being like, if you feel like coming out to this tomorrow, I'll save you one. I get why people ship Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember getting it the first time around, but, like, I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm still...
It's not my favorite, but
I get it.
Poor son, getting shot down so hard.
He got the dance. He got the cute throwback line.
I knew you'd look better with a tie.
It was so cute. Like, don't ship them.
No.
That was so adorable.
Oh, it's great.
Love it. They definitely need to be like we kind of had crushes on each other at one point in our friendship lives. Besties.
Right person, wrong time.
Yeah.
That's their vibes, and I love that. Speaking of dynamics that we really like, Weiss and Yang's dynamic,
amazing.
Very underrated.
They're like, they planned the prom.
Yeah.
I'm going to say prom because I'm sure I'm going to slip up at some point. The dance.
It's just the prom.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse to have a prom arc.
The homecoming, whatever.
It's a good excuse.
Anyways, they plan it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of spur. At least it feels spur.
Yeah.
Of the moment.
It was, because someone else was supposed to do it,
Yeah.
but Team Coffee didn't come back. I'm assuming Coco was probably supposed to be behind it all.
And they kill it. Like, they're, like, the most functional of the group.
Easily.
And, like, they just, like, heighten the functionality of each other together. Like, they're the mom friends.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yang is easily the mom friend.
The mom friend.
Weiss is the cool wine aunt.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not wine, though. I think she has issues with her mother being an alcoholic.
Old-fashioned. Sorry.
Kind of prim and proper.
Yeah. I was saying, like, her drink would be an old-fashioned.
Oh!
Because she's, like, I feel like she's not as... Wine Aunt has a little more, flowiness to the personality.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned is very much, like, a little more sophisticated, a little more... Money has entered their life at some point. And was Weiss.
You keep calling her wife.
I don't know how to speak. She has money, and I feel like old-fashioned sees that. Anyways.
See, this is why you're here, is to, like, correct me on, like, my lack of knowledge about drinking. Every alcohol I have ever tasted, I have hated. Like, beer, stale bread water. Wine, stale grape water.
You just don't...
Vodka, nail polish.
Ugh. Love vodka. Not on its own. Well, and I haven't tried to take a shot in a while, so maybe I do like it more now.
Cinder still sucks.
I do not like Cinder.
I liked Cinder's weapon.
Okay, kind of jumping all around. The fight scene? Not her fight scene, but like her scene at the end.
Right.
The fighting, the intro... Oh my god. I know the word I want to say starts with N, but whatever.
Infiltration.
Yes. That. Anyways.
And that's what she has me around. Just to
Yes.
fill
The one
in.
who got...
We finish each other's sandwiches.
It was so cool, except for that running on the roof. Besides that horrid...
Nightmare fuel.
It's something. It's something. But besides that, I love it. She's was so sassy in the best way.
The Wi-Fi password.
Yes, that's handy.
That's handy.
I will say I got so much like Avengers vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Different ones, of course. Black Widow, the butt shot. Am I allowed to say the butt shot on here? The butt shot, very Black Widow.
You've said it 3 times now.
You can edit it out. That's what.
Black Widow and Hawkeye.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it was just so, like, intense for a second, and maybe even like a little Loki with the daggers.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that scene.
Yeah. Like, Cinder's character sucks. The scene, good.
I just hate how she's always like, same problem with Neptune. It's like she's flirting with everyone. You know, like, it's not as awful as Neptune, but it's...
Seducing everyone.
Yeah, it's seducing.
You'll know what you need when you need to know it.
Cinder's voice is not my favorite.
Yeah.
And it's not helped by the fact that the only thing I really like about the character is her fighting.
Yeah. It's not that Jessica Negri is bad, it's that they're not giving her good things to say.
Yeah. You don't have that performance if you're not being influenced to only be seducing. Like, having the seduction aura in the lines you're giving.
Like, seductress vibes.
Yeah. Like, voice actors aren't just voice acting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's directors involved in everything. They're not just...
Spitballing it.
Yeah, they're not just thrown into the booth.
Why isn't Jean's little, why, Shani, will you accompany me to the dance on Sunday? Why do they hold a dance on a Sunday? You always host a dance on a Saturday so people can recover on Sunday.
Yeah. Or Friday. Some schools do Friday.
Or Friday.
But
But, like, why isn't that on the soundtrack? Like, Nora's going, I'm Queen of the Castle, is on the Volume 1 soundtrack in the Players and Pieces score. Like, it's on there. Why is his not on there?
It should be on there.
It should be on there.
So cute.
I never really questioned Jeff Williams. I questioned that decision. I understand the character reason as to why Pyrrha likes Jean. I don't like that Pyrrha likes Jean.
I want to talk about this love triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I come from a toxic past of being a Weiss and Jean shipper.
Oh!
And I don't dislike myself for it. I am okay with that fact.
You shouldn't be.
I am. I find that Pyrrha and Weiss are so similar.
Yeah.
And the sense, like, so after Jean asked Weiss to the Sunday dance, she rejects him, of course. Mm-hmm. And Ruby and Yang are like, what's up? Why? Which, well, why are they asking? She's been rejecting him, as far as we know, for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
But anyways.
That's what I take issue with, is that it's like, he keeps asking and she keeps saying no.
Yeah.
It's like...
She says, my whole life, all anyone's cared about is my last name. And I don't want to be involved with someone, like, who, like, cares about that. Mm-hmm. Because she somehow has understood Jean as caring about her last name being Schnee. And, like, as in, because I took it as, like, her saying that she doesn't want someone to care about her family, the fortune, the company. Mm-hmm. Like, Jean, if he ever does care about it, it's in a, like, oh, you are a really cool individual. Yeah. Like, you have something to your name, which we know he cares about because he wants to hold up to his family's name. Mm-hmm. Anyways, and then we get Pyrrha's thing, which is almost exactly the same, which is like, I don't want people to, like, care about all of this, me being on a pedestal, false idolness. Just want people to see me for me
Pyrrha's just like
I
the
like her
burnt
for
out
that.
Disney Channel star.
Yeah, yeah. I thought of the False Idol song from Paramore. Really good. Very reminds me of Pyrrha.
I mean, I love
Anyways.
her speech about, like, when you've been placed on a pedestal for so long, you become separated from the people who put you there in the first place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Anyways, I just find that, like, that similarity between the two, like, they're both, according to their own words, pretty much searching for the same type of partner.
Yeah.
As someone that doesn't care about all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I cannot see Weiss with someone who would not care about money like her. Sad little white girl. Like, she is
the 1%.
Yeah.
She does not know how to not be the 1%.
Yeah. That was just so intriguing to me. Because I for sure never noticed that in my 14-year-old self.
Well, it didn't register because...
Might have had...
It's not like either of us
cloudy...
came from any kind of anything.
Yeah. I find that so interesting. I doubt it's ever expanded anymore.
After Volume 2, Weiss doesn't really have any romantic interests that I can recall. And we all know what happens to Pyrrha.
What? It's hard. I don't want to... Like, I did not have too many thoughts about her. OG watching this.
Yeah.
I'm, like, so attached to her already.
I'm attached to everybody except Neptune. I'm okay with Neptune dying. I'd like him even less because of his stupid, I can't dance, man.
He's so real for that. He's just like me. Rejecting someone because of your own flaws.
There are plenty of good reasons to reject a person.
Definitely. I mean, like, if someone, like, just randomly asked me to dance that I knew, why would I not say, yeah? Like, who else am I going to go with? Like...
I think you just described my senior prom.
No!
I don't have many other notes except for the fairy tale illusions in this part are also still really, really good. Like Cinder making it back to the dance before the stroke of midnight. Great stuff. Jean wearing a dress as, like, an allusion to Joan of Arc, cross-dressing. Iconic. I think there was one more, but I don't...
Well, even with the... Back to the Cinder one, like, both the midnight and also the magic change of the outfit, but it's, like, almost kind of reverse. Like, it's going, like... The
reverse pumpkin?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. The orange made me think of it, and I didn't write it down. Oh, and laser pointer.
Laser pointer. Hilarious.
Laser pointer.
Amazing. Offensive?
Probably.
Maybe.
No. At one point, Pyrrha says, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and I'm like... There are fish faunus in Volume 5. It is such... I don't think you'll understand how hard it is to talk about this show with this lingering, awful racism allegory to deal with.
I thought we established in last arc that they created Wi-Fi, right? That's the communications tower.
Atlas.
And then they're like, hey, bro, what's the Wi-Fi password?
It's
is there one?
With the E is a 3, and you put a pound tag at the end.
Oh, this is handy. Funny. Hilarious. Love that.
Love it.
Makes me think. What?
Yeah.
But, which is fine.
It's
honestly, that's pretty low level for the show.
Yeah. I don't feel like we need to talk about it, but it's worth addressing. I like the fact that Team Cardinal has very, like, old school weapons and fighting styles. Yes. Like, you know, a sword gun isn't, like, old school, but, like, dagger, sword, mace, just whatever Sky is fighting with. I don't know the term for it.
Whatever.
I'll Google it and, like, put text at the bottom saying what it is.
And
they're still, like, useless in terms of, like, plot characters, but...
Yeah.
It was really cool to demonstrate Pyrrha's skill ability of, like, okay, we saw the girls just beat up a military-level mech. Pyrrha's leagues ahead of them.
Yes, for sure. Pyrrha's is definitely, like, more designed, but hers is also, like, mainly just a spear.
Spear and a gun.
Yeah.
With a shield.
The shield. So I like that, like, classics weapon. Nothing too much to discuss on this, but I do think it's interesting. We have Sword Gun, and then we also have Jean, who is, like, that team's enemy, with just the sword, which would, like, theoretically would easily fit in on the team. I don't know, I just think it's something interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jean could be a very different person than he is.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's the perks of being voiced by one of the main writers.
Yeah.
I mean, when you make a show, you're allowed to do what you want and voice the character you want to. I mean,
true.
You can only give someone so much junk for that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like if we ever made a show, actually, I would probably just let myself be a cameo as, like, a random person in the background of every episode. I would not want to have to be, like, the forefront.
Oh, yeah. I like the equivalent of the cabbage merchant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I would
want. Or the dust shop owner.
That's what I would want my self-insert to be.
Yeah.
In my own show. Mm-hmm. If I'm never making my own show. On the chalkboard, Yang draws out Raven's emblem. And...
That's Raven's?
Yes. Raven and Crow's emblems are just the two eyes.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought that was Crow's.
Yeah, they're like... I forget which one faces which direction.
Okay. But
that's Raven's eye. And it just kind of makes me wonder, what is the actual significance of having an emblem in this world? Because Ruby has hers on her belt. Yang has hers on, I think, her cleavage.
Probably.
Blake's is on her, like, thigh. Weiss is on her back. And it just kind of makes you think, like, it's a cool design choice, but, like, why is it a cool design choice? I love it, but, like, what's the reason for the cool aesthetic? It just makes me wonder that. And
Cinder's is tattooed on her back.
Yeah, and it's two slippers forming a heart,
which is cute.
Which is such a cool reference to Cinderella.
So cute. Love it. It's another way to market and have, like, these character designs around, like, one concept.
Sell merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which worked.
I love this. I feel like, I don't know if I said that enough. I love this. The sweet high school vibes. So cute.
I told you Volume 2 was my favorite.
It's really good. Yeah. It's really good.
All right. We'll be back with the last third of the volume. Mountain Glen.
Welcome back.
World of Remnant.
We forgot about it until
blissful ignorance.
So, we watched it. Jenny, your thoughts? Thank you for sharing. So, if you use drugs right, you get to become the Avatar. The world is huge. There is so much land. And there's only 4 small cities. Not even countries. Cities. And 3 out of the 4 are landlocked, which is not where humans like to set up. That's not where they like to be. How? Only conclusion I can come to is Grimm pushed them in. So now they're permanently surrounded by Grimm. Are there water Grimm? Oh, well, they would have been surrounded either way then. Well, at least they'd have a freaking port. I know that's why they took to the skies. Grimm's still in skies. Either way. How is trade happening?
Matchstick and a prayer.
I was curious if there's, like, Grimm bugs.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Don't be.
Oh, God. I do have one thing about the lore that I think is a good idea that I really like. I know it's shocking. I love that the Grimm evaporate once killed. That is such a great way to make a little more sense why they know so little.
Yeah. I mean, they're not that bad. I just felt like I was in a college lecture hall freshman year again, listening to Jen Taylor drone on and on about information that is so purposefully vague. I walked away knowing less.
You don't retain information like that.
No.
When it comes to, like, a high fantasy story,
Like, imagine if that was how they did Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, you know that the Four Nations used to live together in harmony, and the Fire Nation decided to go blast them. But, like, you don't learn the complex stuff in that in, like...
Mm-hmm.
I was having such a good time, and that, like, brought me back down to earth a little bit, of, like, this show fundamentally ill-conceived.
Yeah. It ruins it imagining watching this being released.
I remember watching it being released. They would go... It was the first 4 episodes, World of Remnant, next arc, World of Remnant, next arc, World of Remnant.
Yeah.
And the Aura one was a DVD exclusive.
What a knockdown. Like...
Kills the pacing, but it also probably gave them more time to work on the production because they have such a crunch culture. And
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
But,
so, you know, happy for them.
Yeah.
So last arc.
So the last arc. A lot of things to love about the last arc. Ironwood is very tall, like, compared to RWBY.
Tall.
But he's also, like, you can tell he's a very good leader, and aside from one line at the end, such an interesting character. Lawful good to a T.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes out of his way to commend RWBY in a way that none of the other professors at that point had.
Mm-hmm.
Being like, you did the right thing, that's what we're training you to do. And I'm like, yes, a man is doing his job as a mentor.
Yeah.
Good for him. I hate his line where at the end he's like, you brought this on yourself. 14-year-old me thought that he was going to be like the ultimate villain,
the baddie.
that he was in on it the whole time. Like, I was thinking that torture conversation was going to be like all according to plan.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 14-year-old me was too big-brained for that.
I remember thinking, oh, he's probably supposed to be the baddie.
Mm-hmm.
I also remember being like, I like him though.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being confused at what his role was.
Mm-hmm.
And to see that he's just a military man that's, like, actually kind of decent.
Yeah. Like,
so,
all things considered, I would trust him more than I would trust Ozpin.
Yeah, you said it while we were watching, that he's just, like, man realizing his mentor is failing him.
Yeah, like, the idea that, like, when I was 14, I thought you brought this on yourself was a secret villain reveal. In reality, it's just a man realizing that his mentor is flawed. Mm-hmm. And that cuts deep.
Yeah. Trying to get back in that groove.
World of Remnant killed me. Like, it just drained me of... We were riding high. Yes. Sacrifice, bop. One of my favorite songs in the entire series. Mm-hmm. It's written in a minor key, but the 5th is flat.
Ah, yes. Yeah, I heard that too.
Mirror Mirror is also written in a minor key. It's written in A minor, which is comparable in that its counterpart is C minor, and C major. C major doesn't have any sharps or flats, so neither does A minor, but you can tell something's off about it, because that's the minor key. Our ears hear it, because the half steps and whole steps are different. So it literally tells you something's wrong with Weiss's life without having to hear her lyrics. Shit, like, that's really cool. We probably should have talked about the final arc, gone back and watched World of Remnant, but it's also kind of late at night.
It is very late.
And it's hard. That's another thing. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm an old man. We're trying to plow through. Yeah. Oobleck, my beloved.
Yes. Amazing.
Great character.
Yes. Yes. Has a doctorate? There's college? There's college here?
There's a PhD program, and like I thought the whole point was to avoid misery. Why do you have graduate and PhDs?
Right before he does his correction on him being a doctor, I was like, are these just professors? I was like, wait, do they have doctorates? Do none of these people have doctorates? Shouldn't they have doctorates? One of them's the president. Like,
but not the president.
Because
apparently they're a councilman.
Yeah.
What do they do? Were they elected? Is this like a democracy thing? A democratic republic?
And what does it matter? Because according to World of Remnant, Oz is God. So, why are they telling him what to do?
Shout out to the fact that all 3 voice actors for the main professors got fired. For reasons not related to their performances. Ryan groomed minors.
Yeah, I knew that.
Joel, I still don't understand the Joel situation.
I remember...
Something to do with, like...
I think it was BLM.
That might be right. I forget when they fired him.
I think it was during, like, 2020 BLM.
I think
peak,
so.
Which feels like it happened 5 days ago and also 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like...
So it's very hard for us to track that. Anyway, he got fired. And then I think Kathleen just got fired for insulting Bernie's fiance. That's literally all I've ever been able to read about it. Anyway, they're all gone now. So,
That's a fun fact.
That's a fun fact. It is a fact and it is fun.
Oh my gosh.
Now that being said, say what you will about Joel as the person. Joel is such a good voice actor. Because, like, you know, him as Caboose is probably one of the best performances in RWBY. And him as Oobleck, there's, so like, fun. It's fun. There's, like, a tenderness when he talks about Mountain Glen. Mountain Glen as a concept is one of the coolest things about RWBY's world thus far. Like, the idea that, oh, they wanted to do an expansion shit.
I didn't even hear him.
It got stuck in my mouth. The more tired I get, the less my tongue decides to work.
We got this. We can do this, Jenny.
We can plow ahead. The idea that they wanted to create an expansion city, and as a last stand, they went underground, and it became the world's largest tomb.
It's so sad.
Tragic.
That means, like, that whole section of this arc, like, their dead body, like, right there. You know? Mm-hmm. And that they were, like, walking over the failure this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, the real failure.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, it's all, like, you can always see the surface level damage, and there's always another level to it.
Yeah.
I love it. And on that note, all of the girls have surface level reasons for being huntresses, but there's a deeper meaning to it.
Yes.
Yang originally says she's a thrill seeker and helping people is secondary to her. Weiss says that it was her duty and she had a legacy of honor to uphold. Blake wanted to stand up against corruption and inequality. And Oobleck never asks Ruby because Ruby is the simple soul who sees Grimm and goes, let's kill it.
Yeah.
But he never has to ask her why. It's that she has the pure motivation of because it's the right thing to do. It's, again, why I want to talk about it in terms of, like, existentialism. The reason to fight is because she knows that it's right. It's the thing worth fighting for. And I think that's really neat. The deeper reason is that Yang has always gone with the flow and she wants adventure. And it's like, that doesn't sound inherently deep, but it's the idea that, like, when you're directionless, which, you know, relatable, you kind of just cling to something that aligns with enough of the things that you know you like about yourself and then hope it sticks. Where it's like, it's not this grand conviction of hers. It's just like, yeah, I guess this is what I can do with my skills and my opportunities. Weiss wants to reclaim her family name from her father, and blank. I was on a roll there for a minute. And Blake knew that huntsmen were noble, but she knows that she also can't undo years of hate and bigotry and oppression. It's like that inability to, like, how do you seek to fix a corrupt system when the system itself doesn't make change easy?
Definitely one of the most fascinating segments. Once again, like, same thing with Arc 2. We're just really, like, diving into the characters, and it's like they're, like, fighting the whole time during these conversations with the doctor, but it's just conversations, just getting to, like, make the individual think, and, like, they ended up talking it out with each other, which is really nice.
Campfire confessions.
Yeah. Yes.
I love that.
And I find it interesting that, like, for Yang especially, like, her desire for adventure, desire for, like, almost not stability, which, I mean, makes sense with her, like, childhood. But also, like, this path is one of the only ones someone could achieve that in this world. Like,
Because you can't adventure without knowing how to defend yourself.
Knowing how to defend yourself, and then this is a good way to get that funded, I guess. Like, like it's
fund that lifestyle.
Ways. And then like with Weiss and Blake, it's a lot about like honor, I would almost say, and like respect. And this is also one of the few ways to get it, especially considering being a huntress is both being involved with military, government, school, politics. It's their whole world.
Literally.
I see like RWBY having that pureness of knowing what to do, and there's no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that, but I also see it as a difference between their age.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which, you know, they kind of like, they bring at one point, like, oh, she's only 2 years younger than us. That's nothing.
Mm-hmm. And then Blake points out, but we're all still kids.
Yeah. And we're all still kids, but that is like, that, I guess, technically now, it would be like 16 v 18.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
Difference, which is
huge.
And like, though, like, their world is not the same as ours. I think about like the writers.
Yeah.
Like, what they're telling us is the same as what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to relate to that, like, I kind of know what to do, and I kind of know who I am, but also not really.
Exactly.
And I don't know how to do the things that I know I kind of want to do. Just like the emptiness of life, the questions of life, and also just being a teenage girl.
Being 18.
Being 18.
Like, you just graduated high school, and you're like, university, what do I pursue? What do I major in? What do I do? What's my purpose?
Yeah. I'd say, like, the heart of this section is the three girls, their discussions. Not strong discussions, what I'm about to say, but I find their fights that they split off to very interesting, and the choice of enemy. Yang v Neo.
One of the best animated fights in the series.
For sure. Neo. So cute. Adorable.
Love her.
She sits down, crosses her legs. Neo, we don't know much about her, of course.
We don't know much about a lot of characters.
But we see, like, I almost kind of assume this person is, like, traveling with Roman. It's someone that is clearly confident in what they do.
Body language.
Yeah, which Yang does have confidence, but she's also kind of made it clear that, you know, sometimes it's a little...
Bit of an act.
Yeah. And so I like that fighting. And then Weiss and Saw guy. I don't know if he has a name.
Him.
This guy. Who is this, like, almost a representation of some of the worst of the White Fang. I would say he's very aggressive, he's very intense, and he says the line, like,
finally, I get to kill a Schnee.
Yes, and so it's so clearly, like, he doesn't like, White Fang doesn't like her family.
Yes.
Which I think it's really interesting to see them fight immediately after we hear about Weiss being like, I want to change this.
Yep.
And then Blake and Roman, of course.
That kind of got built up the whole volume.
And
she just kicks his ass.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah.
And so...
like, her kicking him to the head.
Amazing.
Like, someone please make a remix of that to Holla Back Girl. So Raven is teased twice in this volume. The original plan was apparently to have her a more prominent role in season 3. She does not show up until volume 5. I think that it's cool that she jumps in to save Yang, but it's also very contradictory to what I remember her character being. I don't know how to read Raven. We have a lot to talk about, and then never.
Yeah. Do they explain how she knew to show up?
No.
Oh, okay. Right on.
No. I think she just decided, hey, let me check. Oh, you're dying!
Yeah, I'm in the mood to check on my daughter that I don't care about.
And I abandoned. I mean, like, I'll save it for volume 5, but I feel like there was a way to write Raven's character that could have been so intensely compelling. The finale is anticlimactic, but I don't care as much because I think we're still in that... I mean, it's not a great thing that it doesn't really pay off anything, but I think that it's interesting in terms of we're going by the mindset of we're kids, we still don't know everything, but there's still that, like, grace period of you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Nothing is that messed up enough that it's your responsibility. And there's still like that grace period. And that's what it feels like when you're a teenager, is like, yeah, it feels like everything's on the brink of collapse, but there's always like a deus ex machina that can bring you back from the brink. And from a storytelling perspective and a narrative perspective, not efficient, not great. I don't mind it as much. And again, that might be my nostalgia coming back in.
Yeah, it's getting hard to tell.
It's very hard. The lines are very blurry. What hasn't been affected by nostalgia, everything Adam says is terrible.
Oh, yeah, that would never change.
Like, I get that a lot of fans got really excited about Adam's character in terms of, like, what he could have been.
Yeah.
What he actually is just, like, a drain on all positivity that I have ever experienced on my life.
Yeah.
Every time he talks, every time he's on screen, he's just the worst.
I know.
But they'll listen to me.
The letdown is so intense because they use, throughout the whole series, they use this great thing with the fairy tales. Great. It tells us a little about the character, the inspirations. So you make Blake and Adam, just Beauty and the Beast. And then they're not supposed to be together, and not saying together in the sense of like romantically together. I just mean in the sense of like together. Like Adam's there, but there's never any moments where I'm like, they were friends, and like it's just, oh, he's evil.
Yep.
And I followed him for a second, and that's it. At least from what we like. As rewatching 1 and 2, that's all I'm getting.
I don't know why. Like, when I was a kid, I felt like he was just more prevalent and interesting. Was that just me?
No. I think it was just, like, all this hyped upness that ourselves,
because we were waiting
and
week
the
for week.
Yeah. It's once again sad to see something that could have been really cool.
Yeah.
It would have been really cool to use the story of Beauty and the Beast.
But, like, in a effed up sense.
Yeah. Almost any way. It's like, I feel like it just wasn't used at all.
No.
I almost can't even think of any other characters that are from the same story.
Weiss has a butler who is the Seven Dwarves.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. He's cool. We like him. I wanted to comment on something that I really found cool about each of the girls' semblances. Weiss, Blake, and Yang's are very interesting, and Ruby's is not. And that's not me, like, trying to dogpile on Ruby's character. Yeah. Weiss, Blake, and Yang's semblances all tie into their character personalities and character flaws. Weiss, her semblance is literally, you'll learn in Volume 3, genetically tied to her family. Like, it's inherited. Which contradicts the world of Remnant that says it's completely unique. But we all know that it doesn't matter. But it's like, literally, her semblance is the lineage that she has such a complicated relationship with. That's cool. Blake's is she can leave shadow clones of herself. And it's like she runs away from conflict. She hides from it. And it's hard for her to confront things head on. And it helps her from a combative advantage whenever she uses those decoys. Again, I love that. And Yang's is, she's so reckless that the more damage she takes, the more powerful she is. But she has to take that damage in order to get that power and dish it back out. And it's like, compare those 3 characteristics to Ruby Goes Fast. And maybe, again, she's young and it's harder to flesh out a personality in terms of, like, major character flaws. It's like the quote syndrome. Ruby doesn't have an opening quote. The other 4 girls have a quote that kind of gives you a little bit of an indication.
Yeah.
And, like, even side characters, Sun's semblance is, like, the inverse of Blake's. He can create Sun clones of himself that are active. Hers are passive. It's like, foiling her character in the best way. And it's like, again, you don't see that with Ruby's.
She has ADHD. That's like it. Because, like, anytime, like, this arc, when she goes off on her own for a second, it's very impulsive. Like, she just kind of did it. And even though we know she's smart and a good leader, it's girl has ADHD. I'm convinced. And she just went for it. So I'm like, ooh, ADHD, go fast. That's the only sort of connection I could give it.
Yeah.
Or, the general hyperactivity that's associated with youngness. The adults almost don't treat it as a character flaw. And I would say, like, the kids, they also don't treat it as a character flaw, but almost in a way of envy.
Oh, and it's definitely envy. They're envious of, like, they envy the simpler way of thinking. I've been there where it's like, if I was just a little bit less in my head, I'd probably be a lot happier.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if I want to trade what I know for a little bit more peace. Peace is something you have to find within yourself regardless.
Blake literally talks about that in this arc, which is really cool to have that self-awareness. Because she's had such a interesting life. I don't like breaking lives on difficulty.
And all of it irreplaceable.
Say she had to go through a lot tougher things than maybe some of her peers. And so it makes sense she already has the maturity. She maybe not knows how to combat it.
Some of it is maturity, and some of it is, like, inherent self-loathing. This thing is a reflection of me, and she doesn't like the reflection that she sees. And it's like, no, honey, it's a cool power.
Yeah. It's just a superpower. Yeah. Go beat up an animal.
Yeah. Speaking of, beating up on the White Fang sucks. Like, that's a tunnel full of dead minorities.
Yeah. Oh, White Fang didn't make it out of there. Do you think they're gonna listen to us anymore?
Don't listen to me! Don't listen to me!
And that's a whole other mass grave in the same spot.
Yep. If I had a nickel for every time there was a mass grave in those tunnels, I have 2 nickels.
Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice, right?
I feel like I've commented on every voice actress individually thus far. I haven't commended Barbara. She's getting very good at voicing Yang. And I just thought that was worth noting, because I think we've praised Lindsay, Kara, and if we haven't praised Erin, love her to pieces. Barbara's getting really good at voicing Yang.
Oz talks over Glinda multiple times. We hate all men. I just have WTF in reference to Zwei. I love it. Amazing.
It gives you a really good glimpse into what Ty was probably like as a father.
I do have to say, Grimm are horrifying.
Yep.
I don't remember being like, whoa, as much younger. But like, especially with like the Goliath, it's horrifying. The doctor almost kind of, I don't know why I like have to call him the doctor now. He sees them.
Like, what is this, Doctor Who?
I feel like he sees Grimm with like a little bit more beauty, or almost just he seems to really appreciate analyzing life in all its forms,
existence.
Yeah, and then he's like, by the way, they're really waiting to kill you. Like they're in the long haul, which is. It's horrifying.
And the fact that her sniper rifle would, like, barely even, like, it'd be like a flea hitting it in the side of the head. Like, like the concept, imagine living in a world where that is looming over your head like a Damoclean dagger at all times.
It's having an elephant covered in armor outside your window.
One of my light bulbs went out.
I don't know. I kind of want to commend that. Like, I'm surprised to be scared.
Yeah.
Of the Grimm. I mean, they're not keeping me up at night, but, as while viewing, I'm like,
ooh, never more.
Oh, Edgar, no. I thought the underground crime joke was really funny.
We're looking for an underground crime network.
I always noticed, like, I said, gosh, the girls are really out of their league.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, goes for all of them, which somehow they managed to fight off all these Grimm. Even John. Shout out. But
somehow
it's, once again, it's kind of in awe of it. I just have a frown face. I don't know what that was in reference to.
Team Coffee?
Not there yet in my notes.
I don't dislike them. I just think that they don't serve a purpose. I mean, I guess they show, like, you're in a different league now, kid. But I like that them coming back from a mission, they're exhausted and they're just a little bit world weary.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many of them.
Mm-hmm. Is the village Ren and Nora's village that they were supposed to go to?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because that's on a different continent.
Okay, word.
But you can understand the reason why they would want to go there. Probably.
Okay.
Like, defend a small village that they couldn't get defenses for when they were kids.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I have Ye John. I was really proud of him. Also really
His ringtone is Ursa in the Woods!
It's so good. Shout out Russell. Shout out to Sun and Neptune being little detectives. They're really cute.
Junior detectives.
And then the freaking, like, ships in the sky. And they're like, oh, we're really not.
we ain't.
We're not the saviors of this battle.
We're just here to look cool.
Why is Cinder's battle outfit the same as what she wears in her first scene? Like, episode 1. Like, Ruby definitely sees that. Well, apparently not, but Ruby definitely sees that.
Budget.
Yeah. But it's like I knew that they didn't give her another outfit.
She has an outfit in season 3.
Okay.
It's like thousands of string wrapped around her chest with like a tan vest, and I think the pants are green.
I kind of remember that. I was in shock when they showed up and Cinder was just in her outfit. I'm like, girl, read the room.
Be a little more discreet.
Caffeine.
Caffeine!
I don't know. It was just so, like, epic. I feel like the music is fun.
Objectively horrible song. Subjectively, injected into my veins like an espresso shot.
I love Miss Chanel. She's so Y2K.
Oh, Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think her name is Coco Adele.
Miss Chanel. Which she doesn't really give me Chanel vibes. But these are men. Nerdy men. So give them a little break.
You just destroyed my favorite clothing store. Prepare to die.
Whips out machine gun. It's amazing. I love her. Still really confused about Glinda's power. Because it says that she just has the power to move things.
I guess.
According to our favorite World of Remnant. Which, this is nitpicky. I know it's nitpicky. Being able to move things does not make building go back to being building.
Yeah. It's like telekinesis that also warps time.
Yeah. As it really looks like it.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm sure what they do is they just rewind the animation of it falling to it go back, which gives us the time thing. Anyways, that was all my notes. Really, really cool. Mm-hmm. Really fun. Really emotional. I actually have one more thing.
Okay.
I want to talk about. Love, first arc, was like really cool battle and also really fun.
Yeah.
Like a good little mix.
Mm-hmm.
And then second, very fun high school focus.
Yep.
Like, it's like, oh, these are kids. And then I like how this one is like really intense. I feel so like I like how like the first arc is kind of like a mix of the vibes of the two other ones. And it's done really well.
Yeah.
I don't dislike any of these.
Yeah.
And what the heck? How? This is RWBY we're talking about.
I mean, when in doubt, just remember that Volume 5 exists.
No.
But no, I had a really great time.
Yes.
Ranking 2, 1 for me.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I agree.
Yeah, so we're in agreement there.
World of Remnant number 1. Sorry.
-10.
I think they should release a season that's just like that. No. Thank you for watching. Comment and like down below.
But seriously, thank you for watching. This is so much fun to do.
This is.
Yes.
Hopefully, we try not to talk so long the first time. Next time we do this, we won't be here at 11
on the
p.m.
bright side, for volume 3, it's not 3 arcs. It's like basically the first 6 episodes are fun, and then the next 6 episodes are like everything sucks and life is pain. And it's great. No, having a lot more fun than anticipated.
Yes.
But I think that's the beauty, is that all experiences are enhanced with the company of other people. So,
No.
yeah. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a like. If you feel so like subscribing, why not? Yeah. We will see y'all soon for volume 3. Oh. Wait, we fist bumped last time.